G'day there, guys. Welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the A-hole? It's your host, Markee here. Definitely not Mark Narrations. I'm not Mark Narrations. Do I look like Mark Narrations? No, God, stop telling me that in the comments. This is another episode of r/Am I the A-hole. As I said before, I'm repeating myself now. Sit back, relax, chuck a prawn in the barbie. I know you guys love that one. And enjoy today's bloody good episode. Thank you. Posted by user Anon620949, titled, Am I the A-hole for telling my wife to stop calling herself a mother? So my wife and I have been together for 5 years and married for 3. I'm 26 and she's 25. Before we got together when she was 17, she was with someone else and she got pregnant. She lost that baby at 32 weeks due to the baby contracting a lung infection and dying. It sucks and is tragic, and she visits the baby's grave every year on the anniversary of its death. I have no problem with that. When people ask if we have any kids, I say no, and she says she had a baby, but it passed away. It makes people really uncomfortable, and we've talked about how not everyone needs to know about her dead kid. Our issue arose when yesterday, which was supposed to be her due date, she went and got a tattoo of the baby's handprints and the name she gave it, which she had been talking about for years, and I was always reluctant for her to do. It seems kinda trashy, but I don't like tattoos in general. And posted it on Facebook with a big long caption about how, even though she wasn't his Earthside mother for long, he taught her so much, and how being his mother was the greatest gift she could ask for. I told her to stop calling herself a mother and posting depressing stuff on Facebook. It was almost a decade ago, and she's still holding on to it. What is she gonna say when we have kids? That she has this many kids alive and this many dead? She told me I was being an insensitive dickhead, and it's no different than if her baby died at 6 months old. She still held it, fed it with her body, loved it, and created a space in her world for it. She hasn't talked to me since yesterday and slept in our guest room. I feel like she needs to get over it because it was almost 10 years ago and she's acting like it's fresh. Am I the a-hole? The baby didn't die in utero or was stillborn. It was born, developed a lung infection, and died like 5 days after it was born. I don't think this is one of those things that you just let go of and never speak of it again. 32 weeks is a long time to be holding a child. And the OP even said in the comments down below that it was alive for 5 whole days before it passed. That was her entire world for all of those months, and it would have destroyed her after losing her baby. How are you 26 years old and not of the mental capacity to understand that it's okay for her to continue to grieve the loss of her child? You're so goddamn insensitive to your partner. And if this is the wake-up call you need to realize that, then please take it and do better, and never say anything like this to her again. Yes, you're the a-hole for telling your wife to stop calling herself a mother, because she very much was one, and life took a very bad turn for her. You saying all of this cannot be helping her in the slightest. Please stop. Now in the comments, MM172 says, You're the a-hole, massively. If you're not trolling, I'm not sure how you could possibly think otherwise. 32 weeks is a baby. She lost her baby. You don't get over that. Ever. If you think grief counseling might help her in dealing with that, feel free to suggest it, but demanding she act like it didn't count because her child never drew breath is gobsmackingly cruel and insensitive. The baby was born and lived for 5 days. Opie makes it sound like a stillbirth, but it wasn't, which adds to his already breathtaking a-hole level by quite a bit, because apparently his take is that she never brought it home from the hospital, so she's not a mother. Can you even imagine? You're the a-hole. What the hell is wrong with you? I think it's called being devoid of empathy. More like devoid of humanity. You're the a-hole, she is a mother. You don't get to gatekeep motherhood or grief. She is not the trashy one here. Seriously, I read the headline expecting Opie's wife to have had a chemical pregnancy or own a bunch of ferrets that she calls herself the mother of. But a baby that she had carried long enough that the pregnancy had passed viability? My word, Opie is terrible. Worse, The baby was born and lived for 5 days. I can't even imagine how shattered I would have been had I lost my child shortly after my wife gave birth. Seriously, I'm not usually on the divorce bandwagon on these posts, but my word, I wouldn't want to spend my life stuck with someone so callous. My fiancé was more sensitive than this guy after our embryo transfer failed while doing IVF, and we didn't even get a positive pregnancy test. And Webby Vanderquack says, "You're the a-hole. I really hope you're trolling. It makes people really uncomfortable. Not only are you incredibly cruel, but I don't buy that it makes anyone but you uncomfortable. If someone tells me they've lost a child, I feel empathy, not discomfort. Yeah, it makes OP uncomfortable. He wants to control her narrative. I get the feeling he's ashamed of her having had a child with someone else and doesn't want anyone to know about it. If this were his own offspring who passed, he wouldn't mind at all. Guarantee it." Posted by user Sister's Puppy. Titled, "Am I the a-hole for telling my cousin, at least I know my parents wanted me, when she kept making comments about me not being family?" Some backstory. I, female 17, was adopted when I was 3 months old. My cousin, 17 female, is my grandparents' only bio-grandchild, but she seems to be the only one that cares about that. She doesn't like me because I got a full scholarship to a performing arts school, and she didn't get accepted. And when my grandpa gave us his cars, I got the better one. We had a family dinner last week, and my grandparents asked about my boyfriend. My grandma jokingly asked when we're getting married because she wants a great-grandchild. I laughed and said, "It'll be a while," and my cousin cut in and said, "They probably want a real great-grandchild anyway." I brushed it off and kept talking to my grandma. When we were about to have dessert, my grandpa realized he forgot to get ice cream and asked me to drive into town and buy some. My cousin made another comment about how she's the only real family member, so she should have gotten the good car. Grandpa told her to shut up and that I got the new car because I help them out and come to visit them almost every day, and she doesn't. After dessert, my grandpa said that we should take my sister, 14, to the backyard and teach her how to drive the golf cart. I agreed, and I told her that I was driving that thing into town to run errands all the time when I was her age. Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt the story. Is that normal? Do 14-year-olds drive golf carts into town to run errands? Is that a normal thing? My grandpa then told her maybe if she likes driving it, he'll give it to her. My cousin lost it. She started screeching that it's not fair that we get everything and we're not even their real family. That pissed me off because she said it in front of my youngest sister and made her cry. So I snapped at her and said, "At least we know our family wanted us." Ooh! Cousin screamed and stormed off, and my sisters got more ice cream. My grandparents think that that was hilarious and that I was totally in the right. My dad also thinks I'm in the right, but my mum thinks that was mean and I should apologize. So I wanted to know if I was the a-hole. They're the ones spewing more vitriol in this situation. And I think, come on, if you can't take it, don't spray it, honey. It's absolutely this cousin's fault that they got burnt as bad as they did. They were looking for trouble. OP, you're morally in the right here, and I can atone that little sin of saying at least you were wanted, because fighting back in this situation was the right thing to do. Shows us you ain't no pushover, and revealed the cousin has no spine at all. Good job all round, not the a-hole. Now in the comments, Coffee Beer Life says, "Not the a-hole. How long can she continue to be disrespectful before someone snapped at her? She got what she deserved, and it wasn't like you were just overly mean to her. She honestly just sounds spoiled rotten. Just like the Joker said, you get what you frickin' deserve, bam! Right in the kisser. Childhood is idolizing Batman, adulthood is realizing the Joker may have a point. Sociopathy is relating with the womanizing psychopathic murderer and crime lord." And idiocy is writing off an entire topic as evil without taking any time to understand it. It has nothing to do with relating to the Joker. It's the philosophical opposition between Batman and the Joker. Sorry, I just really like reading these comments, and I thought some people would too. Not the a-hole, and good on you, OP. No one has the right to make you feel like you're not part of the family. Your grandparents and parents sound like amazing people. Except her mum at the moment. Have to respectfully disagree there. With the facts I have here, the mum was perfectly entitled to make the comment provided that A, it was done in private, i.e. not a public naming and shaming, and B, it was said respectfully. OP, please correct my assumptions above if either weren't true or you felt attacked in any way. And they replied to that, I guess I read into it too much. I'm cool with the mum saying apologize just because it was mean. If the mum is cool with cousin's behavior though, then I'm not cool with the mum. Agreed on that. If the behavior is condoned, that would be abominable. But user can't eat cats Kevin, that was a great discussion. I really love it when I can present a differing opinion that gets discussed civilly. You're awesome. I also love when internet people can change their opinion and perspective. Excellent interaction, my good person. Come on guys in the comments, let's take their lead, hey? Haha. And Merlot Mystery says, not the a-hole. Good job for defending your family. Your mum is right. It was mean. It was also justified and the appropriate response to someone who was being deliberately provocative and cruel. Your mum may be like my grandmother, a peacekeeper through and through. Peacekeepers like this can be wonderful to have in families, but they can also rug sweep for the sake of peace, which isn't okay. That said, it sounds like your cousin actually has more of a beef with your grandparents than with you. She's taking it out on you, but it sounds like she resents the strained relationship she has with them, and it hurts her to be pushed aside. She may have no one to blame but herself, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt her. Alright, moving on from that, and our next post is by user Throwaway Command, titled, Am I the a-hole for evicting my son and his pregnant girlfriend because he wants his real dad and not me? So when my son was 10, I caught my wife cheating and got a divorce. I tested all my children and 3 were mine, but my oldest 10-year-old son was not. I was mad, but eventually got over it, and I didn't want to treat him separately than his siblings at first. Unfortunately, his mum told him about his bio dad against our agreement, and at 18, he started regularly calling and speaking to him. Well, he's 20 now, and he got a girl pregnant. Since she had nowhere to stay, I decided to let her move in with my son so they could continue going to college while raising their kid. Well, my son's relationship with his bio dad really took off, I guess. The emotions and everything all came to a head recently at the child's baby shower, wherein he gifted his bio dad a shirt that said Grandpa on it. Moreover, he has started occasionally calling me by my first name, even in front of our other kids. He sort of made it clear to me that biology is more important than the man who raised him. So instead of giving them a gift on the baby shower, I quickly drew up a 30-day eviction notice after a quick call with my attorney and replaced my present with that. I'm just tired of the disrespect. But apparently he didn't see it coming because he was completely blindsided. I should also add that I've overheard him saying other things like, my real dad was a Marine, and stuff like that when he thinks I'm not home. I told him to go live at his real dad's house if he wanted. The only reason that he doesn't live there now is because it's a single-bedroom apartment. I'm also going to stop paying his tuition next semester and just kinda cut him off completely. Am I the a-hole for evicting my son and his pregnant girlfriend because he doesn't think of me as a dad anymore? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. I think I may be the a-hole for evicting my son and his pregnant girlfriend for my own emotional sanity. Jesus, you really went explosive no-holds-barred mode there, didn't you? I think you may have jumped a few steps to getting emotional reconciliation and saving your sanity by doing this to them. Just maybe. Obviously, from what you've said, your son's somewhat disowning you as a father and taking the reins as someone who didn't raise them, and your wife cheated on you with as well, and had their child. Seems to me like the fun parent syndrome that kids have with co-parenting, where the fun dad is favored over the strict mum kind of thing, and I can't imagine that feels good at all. I imagine that feels disgusting. It feels terrible. So therapy and taking things slowly and logically in this situation would have been the right thing to do, I imagine. But that's not what happened. It seems your emotions took a hold, and you did what you felt was best for you. I can't particularly blame you for that, since I'm a big advocate for the look after yourself and then others mindset. You know, don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. But I'm seeing it more like you set your son, his girlfriend, and their baby on fire just to keep yourself warm. Obviously, what he did was wrong. There is no debating that, and some people will say it's deserved. Maybe it is, but I don't think evicting him was what he deserved. I'm gonna go with everyone sucks here. Now in the comments, Illustrious T8920 says, "Son, you're not my dad. You're not the grandfather of my children. My real dad was a Marine." Stepdad says, "Okay then, go to your real dad if you want help." Son goes, "Surprised Pikachu face. Haha. Everyone sucks here. You for not talking about your feelings sooner to your son for not realizing how much his comments hurt and relying on your help while simultaneously trying to erase your relationship with him. I'm gonna jump on this bandwagon and say, I'm shocked at all the comments that say OP needed to talk to his son to let him know how hurt he was. His son's actions were not subtle, and he is no longer a child. This is a 20-year-old man about to become a father himself. He should know by now how crappy his behavior has been toward the man who raised him. I don't care how cool he thinks his bio dad is. He's not a 10-year-old meeting his bio dad for the first time. This sub is constantly telling 18-year-olds they're old enough to tell their parents to take a hike. Well, here it is. A young adult literally told the man who raised him that he is not good enough to be a grandfather of his child, in front of a whole group of other people, and then stopped calling him dad while calling the other man dad. If he's old enough to decide which dad he wants, then he's also old enough to know that what he did was crappy and there is no excuse. You can't have it both ways, that he's old enough to make up his mind, and then maybe doesn't know what he's doing hurts someone else. And why is it OP's responsibility to tell his son that this behavior hurts? If someone punched you in the face a few times, are you supposed to stop and go, "Hey, that hurts," in case you didn't know, before you walk away? Not the a-hole. I really like that one, actually. I would change my response to that now if I could travel back in time, which I have the ability to do, but again, I'm lazy. So I'm going to choose not to, but I will change my answer to I agree with that, not the a-hole. Thank you. I'm Team OP. I'd be angry too, watching his son dump him after continuing to provide for son and pregnant girlfriend. My gosh. Dumping your dad after dad did not dump you when he found out son was not his, plus supporting girlfriend too, then having a scene play out with his son showering bio dad and calling the man who raised him by his first name? You would be angry too. Too many people are saying dad must not have been so great if son took off, while disregarding the great things dad did for his son and his pregnant girlfriend. If someone put a dagger through my heart in front of friends and family, I wouldn't be able to hold back to spare their feelings. They didn't spare dad's. They made a spectacle of him and made him look like a fool. The son sounds like an entitled, spoilt brat. OP is not the a-hole. Let me point out that the shower was in OP's house, so he let the bio dad, the man who helped his wife cheat on him and then abandoned his responsibilities to OP, into his house. Info. Have you ever spoken to your son about your relationship with him? How you felt about his relationship with his bio father? About what living agreements after he turned 18? After his girlfriend moved in, were there conditions or rules? Rent? Did you talk to him about your feelings towards being seen as his dad versus his relationship with his bio father? He answered no in another comment. I'm not very open about my emotions because I was raised to keep everything in my head because I was a man. So I guess he didn't know how much it hurt me, and I wanted him to feel my pain, I guess. I don't know. Thank you for this update. Yeah, I get bottling up your emotions, especially if you're trying to be an anti-drama queen. However, if it causes you to explode and act out like this, talking to an attorney and serving your son and his pregnant girlfriend at their baby shower instead of even trying to have a previous conversation, then that's immature a-hole behavior. Gonna have to go with I don't agree with that. I feel like the son is 20 years old and it's deserved. Posted by user The Falklands War, titled, Am I the a-hole for insulting a fat girl after she told me to eat a burger? We're both 17 female for context. Basically, someone in my friend group at school, who I'll call Jenny, is pretty overweight and clearly insecure about it, whereas the rest of the group are all slim. I've never mentioned weight, calories, health, etc. in front of her because I know she's insecure. She has a habit of implying that we're all too skinny in what feels like a disparaging way, but we tend to ignore her. But one time at lunchtime, I wasn't hungry, so I didn't eat anything, and I swear she was giving me dirty looks the whole time, then said, "You should really start eating more," to me. To clarify, it was obvious that she was saying it to be insulting, not because she cared about my health or anything. I normally eat loads. So anyway, I was annoyed at this comment and said, "What, and start to look like you? No thanks." Then she walked out and was very upset. Objectively, I accept that what I said was very mean, and my friends think I was in the wrong. One of them said that it would have been fine if I'd told Jenny to eat a salad or something that was a direct inversion of what she said. But since I expressly insulted the way Jenny looks, I'm in the wrong. I see what they mean, especially since I know she's insecure. However, I was just sick of her taking her insecurities out on me and my friends. It's not like I can't be insecure either. I've always felt too flat, so it's not really fun when she implies that I'm too skinny. Just want to know if I was justified in what I said to her, or am I the a-hole? So, I guess my opinion on this is that she shouldn't have started it, or given you all of those dirty looks that she did, simply because you weren't eating anything. It's not her place to be giving you dietary advice or seeing what is or isn't good for you. But at the same time, this is the schoolyard, so really there aren't any rules when it comes to interactions like this. Yeah, sure, you shouldn't have said what you said, but if she didn't want to be called out, she shouldn't have started it, plain and simple. I think what you said was wrong, yes, but was justified in this situation. Still makes you a bad person for saying it, but I don't think it's really a big deal. Everyone sucks here, but good that you stood up for yourself. Now in the comments, Supervillain85 says, "Everyone sucks here. She's obviously an a-hole for thin shaming you, and you went straight for the jugular and fat shamed her. You had a chance to be better than her and you didn't take it. We can just call it body shaming. No need to specify thin, skinny, fat, because it's all the same at the end of the day." Sounds to me like she's taken the chance to be better than her many times before. It takes different people different amounts of time to be fed up with people's insults before you strike back. As a person that doesn't take crap from anyone, I think this girl had it coming after years of bullcrap. Doesn't sound like she ever spoke to the fat girl about the disparaging nature of her comments. If she did, she didn't write that in the post. Just stewed in it until she lashed out and acted exactly the same way. Makes her no better. Agreed. This is a mistake that a lot of people make. Your choices aren't sit there and take it or act like an a-hole back to them. Most people make one of those two choices because they're uncomfortable with confrontation, and so they avoid it until they finally have an emotional reaction that they can't control. But the far better response is usually to steel yourself against the discomfort and address the behavior calmly but firmly when it first happens. Please don't comment on my body or my eating habits. This is a courtesy that I extend to you. You've never once heard me comment on your body or what you're eating, or not eating, correct? So please extend the same courtesy and kindness to me. And then, if you get pushback or it reoccurs, say, "It's really rude to comment on someone else's eating choices. You're not my doctor, and it's not your business. Please stop." Which can be escalated to, "I'm not willing to spend the time with you if you can't treat me with this basic level of respect. So if that's how you feel about it, I'm gonna go." And ta-da! You've successfully drawn boundaries and made it clear that her behavior is unacceptable and won't be tolerated without ever calling her names or preying on her insecurity. This is what being the bigger person actually looks like, not just ignoring bad behavior until you finally snap. Yeah, that's all well and good, but these people are 17 years old and they don't have the, capacity to say this in the moment. You're emotionally charged, you're gonna fire back. These 3 big, long responses that are logical and well thought out. It's not even going to cross the mind of a lot of 17-year-olds. And the one you're saying it to isn't going to listen to what you're saying. They're just going to be thinking of a response the whole time and how they're going to piss you off even further. Sure, it's good advice in a vacuum, but practically speaking in the real world, you're just going to be laughed at and made fun of for saying something like this. So genuinely, for the context of this situation, I think that's bad advice. Another comment says, "This is one of those situations where I'd say not the a-hole by virtue of her bullying. Strictly speaking, it was harsh, but she's clearly sublimating her self-loathing into being crappy to other people, and she's upset that you clapped back. If she punched other people to make herself feel better, and you finally punched back, would anyone say that you were part of the problem? This is exactly what I was thinking. Miss Jenny doesn't get to constantly harass and try to shame everyone else for being thinner than her, and then be hurt when someone finally claps back with the exact same crap that she's dishing out. She can shut the hell up and take it like a big girl, or stop being such a d-bag. Not the a-hole." Alright guys, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. If you need a good laugh, please do check out my second channel, Markee 2, links down in the description below, or it's going to appear somewhere on the screen here at the end, little bubble with my face on it. As always, a big shout out to my Patreon and channel members. Your faces are surrounding me right now, and I love to have you guys with me, and down in the comment sections of each and every video, and just knowing that you're always there to support me. It's a humbling and lovely feeling. And rest assured, I do see you, and I do notice your support, and I thank you every day for being here and helping me along this journey. Not much else to say besides that, guys. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. I do hope that you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to. I will see you in the next video, and thank you again. Bye.